Could a vampire policeman enter my house if he had a warrant?
So if a vampire is also a police officer and he shows up at your door with a warrant, can he come in your house? Can he just come in without being invited? Now, whether we like to admit it or not, legally a warrant gives the cops the right to enter your home. But vampires, does that give them the right to enter your home? Because vampires are playing by a different set of rules. In most folklore, vampires cannot cross the threshold unless they've been invited in, and it's not locks, doors, anything like that. It's about consent. That's supernatural law. So picture this. You hear a knock at your door. You open the blinds and see a pasty police officer standing outside in the dark holding paperwork. He flashes his badge. He's got a warrant signed by a judge, but you never said come into the house. Does that piece of paper alone hold the weight to override the mystical barrier that is your threshold of your doorway? Now, the answer to the question is obvious if you're familiar with old European vampire lore, and I'm sure everybody is. The answer is no. The invitation rule is absolute. It is tied to the will of the person living inside who owns and resides in that house. And no judge, regardless of party affiliation, cannot speak for your soul. So unless you invite him in, the vampire cop stays stuck on the front porch like a bloodthirsty Jehovah's Witness or some shit. But wait, in a world where supernatural and legal systems overlap, what about that? I just made that up. The warrant could act like a magical override signed by the government, right? Think about the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Maybe those two things overlap and the seal of authority maybe is blessed by priest ink or a sunlight spell or something. Also, I'm making this up as I go along too. And if that shit that I just made up was true, it could count as a kind of collective invitation, an invitation by society. Why would there be vampire cops anyway? But the result, he steps in legally and metaphysically, fangs glinting under the fluorescent light, and you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. Sorry. The good thing is I just made all that shit up. But different stories handle this differently. In Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the rule is absolute. Cops are not, no entry. In True Blood, the vampires can manipulate you into saying come in. In What We Do in the Shadows, even a sarcastic yeah, whatever, they can come in when you do that. The Dresden Files, magic beats law every time. I bet you in Harry Potter, it also beats law every time. So all my bullshit aside, the final verdict is the lore says no. Unless the universe says otherwise, the lore says no. A warrant is not good enough for that vampire cop to get access to your house. But if you happen to have a knock at your door at 3 o'clock in the morning tonight and you hear, open up, I've got a warrant, and you look out and it's a pasty cop standing on your front porch with paperwork in his hands, you might be legally obligated to let them in, but metaphysically protected, right? Damn it, man. He's back.